Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to episode 28 of Knits and Pieces. We are a mostly knitting podcast, but we do delve into other crafts as well. We're coming to you from Southwestern Ontario, still apart, but soon hopefully to be together. I'm Noelle, and I'm in Sarnia, which is about 20 minutes from my friend Kelly.
Hi. And today is episode 28 of the Knits and Pieces podcast. And it is also May the 22nd for reference. Yes. It's our long weekend in Canada. So we're getting an extra day this weekend and looking forward to it for sure.
But it's starting off rainy. But
that's
perfect,
okay.
Perfect knitting weather.
Yes. We've got lots of that going on.
Oh.
So I think the first thing we might as well go through, Noelle, is some of our knit-alongs that we've got running. Okay. And I can let you, do you want to talk about the sock cal?
Okay. So we have a sock cal going on. It's going on for the entire year. All you have to do is finish some adult socks, and you can post them in our group in Ravelry. There is a finished object thread for the socks that you've completed. You can knit as many pairs as you want, enter, as many completed pairs as you have. And every month we pull a prize. Well, actually this month we're going to actually have two prizes because Natalie from Remembrances Pottery has been so kind and generous, and she's offering us some pattern prizes. And Natalie's got wonderful patterns. I've shown a couple of the socks that I've done. I think I've done almost all of the patterns that she's come out with, but they are colorwork socks, perfectly easy patterns to understand. And again, Natalie's been kind enough to give us some to offer as prizes for our knit along. So what we do is every month we go right back to the beginning of the year up to the end of that particular month and put it into random number generator and pick a prize winner. So you may have knit a pair of socks in January and they're basically still eligible for prizes all along. So the more times you put socks in there, the more chances you have to win. So I think Kelly's got some numbers pulled up this would be for April socks.
Right. So for April, the first prize, which is, we'll talk about the prize that's for Natalie's sock pattern. The random number generator chose number 69. And I will insert a slide here with the details of the winner. So if you could just reach out to either Noelle or myself, either on Ravelry or through Instagram, and we can give you a code that you can go in and choose one of Natalie's patterns. And so slide here. And the second prize that we drew, which Noelle, I think you've got the prize there.
Yep. You can see, wait, I'll hold it so you can see all the colors. There we go. So this is a sock set from Leo and Roxy. This is their basics line. So the main skein here is their Queen's Navy. And then we've got not quite white. And then this one is more mustard. So really nice nautical looking theme for coming into the summer. So that prize will get sent out to, I think Kelly's got the number.
So, and the lucky number for that is number 305. I'll put the slide in here with the details. Congratulations. We'll get your yarn mailed out to you within the next week or so.
Yeah, so everybody keep knitting your socks, keep putting them in there. We love to see all the patterns. I can't believe how many socks are in there already. Like there's, I think, over 400.
Yes.
And it's just amazing all the different patterns that we're finding, and I think both Kelly and I want to knit. So it's really nice to see them done up too, in different colors, different patterns, different styles, because there's a lot of ankle ones that I hadn't seen before. So,
and then the second cal that we have going on in our Ravelry group is the Rising Stars cal. And we are running that one through until the end of May. So you still have about 10 days to get your projects finished. I think we've got 41 finishes in there right now as of this broadcast, and we're hoping for some more. We have a chatter thread as well for this knit along, and there's lots of chat going on. So I know that people are hard at work knitting to get their projects finished. And the Rising Stars, the concept behind that is to highlight designers who don't have as large a following for the pattern. So the Rising Stars would be for a project that is less than, or a pattern that has less than 30 projects on Ravelry currently. And we've got a lot of great finishes in there as well. I've picked up a few for my queue. It's always dangerous for me.
I know. We all need more time to knit, right? There's so many things to knit and so many amazing patterns and designers out there. It's just, time is not our friend.
No, it is not. It is not. And so since we are so close to the end of the month, we wanted to talk about what we're going to start for June. And I'm going to let Noelle talk about this one. And go ahead.
Okay, so I believe it was probably the first episode that Kelly and I did together. We showed our night shift shawls. And for both of us, that shawl is probably one of our most used accessories, right? In fact, Kelly used mine before she had her own.
Yes, they did.
So, anyway, it's an amazing shawl. The pattern looks a lot more difficult than it actually is. Like it's actually quite a simple pattern. It is color work, but it's mosaic. So you're only ever carrying one color across the row. And Andrea Mowry has several patterns based on that theme. I believe that there's the night shift, the shift cowl, the shift along, which is, I think, the hat, the shifty, which is the sweater. So we decided that we would hold a shift cowl. We had talked about this a little bit on one of our, can't remember whether this started with Sunday or Tuesday night knit chat, but like we just talked about it and people seemed interested. So we're going to start a cowl called Shift Happens. So, and it's going to start June the 1st and it's going to run until August 31st. That way you've got lots of time, because people might not want to take a big project outside in the summer, but on cooler days when you're inside, you have something to work on. And then by the time we get into the cooler weather in the fall, if you choose to do the shawl, you don't have to do the shawl, but you'll have your shift garment finished.
That's right.
So,
and I happen to have, I'm casting this shawl on. I'm going to do another shawl because I purchased enough of this yarn to make 2 more actually. So the yarn that Noelle and I both used in our shawl was the Noro Akari. And you can see that it's kind of a gradient. I don't know. Would you call it a gradient? I'd call it a gradient.
Yeah, it's gradient, tweedy, textured.
And it's trying to think now. There's a lot of things in it. There's silk, cotton, mohair, and wool, and a little nylon. So it's really lightweight, and but it's cozy and it's fluffy. So I don't think it's too hot to work on through the summer months. I think I knit my last shawl actually during the summer months. So I'd have it ready for fall. So these are the 2 colors I'm going to cast on with. And we get a lot of questions about those shawls.
Yes.
People always want to know. So this is the yarn, the Noro Akari. And I know that, it's our long weekend again in Canada. So there are a few yarn stores that have some sales on. So you might be able to pick it up on sale. And that's one idea for you.
There's lots of other yarns that you can do it in. You don't have to do it in the Akari. We just really like the Akari, and those are 200 gram balls. So if you do it in the Akari, it just basically takes 1 ball of each color, and it kind of does the color changing for you. I think in the original Andrea Mowry pattern, she used, I believe, 6 different colors. So you had to change colors more often. So, but again, there's several different patterns. You don't have to just do the night shift shawl. So just a shift pattern with that. It's basically a textured color work kind of pattern in it.
It's mosaic too.
Yes.
I think if you mentioned that or not, I've lost track.
But just 2 colors, just 2. Well, when we did it, it's just the 2 colors with the Akari, but it's only ever 1 color across a row.
Right. So that's the beauty of Mosaic. So you don't have to be intimidated if you're new to color work and you're thinking, well, that's not for me. So with Mosaic, that's the best part. There's only ever one color that you're working with. So you basically knit across a row and back with the one color, and then you're going to go across and back, and that completes one segment of the Mosaic. So it's really easy to do. It's really fun, and it makes a really textured, interesting garment. And we're just looking forward to it. And it's going to be a lot of fun to knit things like that over the summer.
I think I'm going to do my second shawl, but I also think I'm going to try a shifty sweater.
Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking that too. It would look really nice, like in the fall, to have that sweater over like a linen dress or something.
Yep.
So we had one other item on our last podcast that we talked about, and that we ran the results in our knit chat. And that was a quick little contest. How many shawls does Noelle have on her shawl wall? And you may have thought that Noelle only had one shawl wall, because that's what she talks about. And I'm not sure why she calls it shawl wall, because it's actually walls o' shawls. That's what we should have called it.
That's what we should have called it.
Because she has shawl walls throughout her house. And so we had everybody respond below our last podcast with their guess. And then we announced the winner on our knit chat. And I forget which date it was. I almost want to say it was the May 4th. Wasn't it the May 4th? Because we were talking about May the 4th be with you. Was it on that one, or was it the one after?
I thought it was on the 11th, because we just did one, right? It wasn't on that one. So I think it was on the 11th. I'll put it in the notes. I'll put it in the show notes. So
we had a lot of fun with that. We had a lot of guesses, and it was just fun. So we had Ross follow Noelle through her house, and we did a little video, and I'm going to insert the video for you in here in the podcast, just so that you can all enjoy it as well if you missed the knit chat. And the final count for the shawl wall was actually 91 shawls that Noelle has knit, that she still has in her house, because it doesn't count the shawls that she's knit and given away, right? That she no longer has. So she's definitely knit more than 91. But we had two guesses, and the game was that the closest guess without going over. And we had two people that actually guessed 89. So instead of, we had talked about just doing a draw for one winner, but since there were two, we decided to give two prizes. And so that's what we did. And the prizes have been mailed out. I'm not sure if they've received them yet or not, but anyways, and they both guessed 89. So it was pretty close. And so I'm just going to, before our next segment, we can close this segment because I think we're moving on after this. So we will close the admin section with this little video of Noelle's shawl walls.
Okay, here we are starting the official shawl count. This is spare bedroom number 1. We just have a little part of a shawl wall here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and you wanted to see a few of my favorites. This is one of my favorites. This is Mystic Embers, and that is by Anna Delvey. And that is a lace weight shawl that I knit probably 8 years ago, maybe. Anyway, that is one of my favorites. Okay, now we will move on to spare bedroom number 2. Okay, in this bedroom we have 3 different parts of the shawl wall. So we'll count this part first. We've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now we'll move to this section of spare bedroom number 2. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, And moving over to this side, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And a favorite one here is this little black one, because it pretty much goes with anything that you're going to wear to a wedding. I've also taken it with me when we've gone south and actually worn it as a cover up on the beach. Okay, now we're in the master bedroom, and let's count here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and if we move over to the chair over here, we've got 12. This is a nice one just to wrap around your shoulders if I'm sitting up here. I think I've had it up here when I podcast up here before. And that one is made out of Blue Moon Fiber Arts Peru, and it's 100% alpaca. Okay, and here we have a couple that we keep at the back door. If we're going outside to sit by the fire and it's a little chilly out, we can just wrap these around our shoulders. So these are 2 woven ones. So here we are in the family room. This shawl lives in my family room. This is my Noro Akari night shift, which I use all the time, especially in the morning. If it's chilly, you can throw it around your shoulders. I've taken it outside. This one goes on planes with me, trips. I would definitely say this is one of my most favorite shawls. And now we're in the basement, and this is where the majority of the shawls are kept. So just excuse, it's a not finished basement. We had to use this for our music room, our workout room, and our shawl storage room. So on this first rack here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I just want to show you this one. This is definitely one of my favorites. I had a lot of fun knitting this. It's done with a lot of short rows. This is Noro Silk Garden Sock, and then I think the black is Regia. So definitely a favorite. Just actually found it today. Forgot that I had it. Oh, there we go. I had to write that down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay, stop. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Okay, these are the scarves, cowls that don't count as a shawl that I have to find place for back on the shawl wall now. Okay, so how about we talk about what we're wearing?
We can do that.
Okay.
What are you wearing?
I am wearing a Radunculus. My little dangly earphone. So this is I have 3 Radunculus. One's a long sleeve, 2 are short sleeve like this. This one is done in Fleece Artist Merino Slim, held with handmade in angel hair. And the color is burnt umber. And it was like 1 skein of each. So 400 meters of each yarn to do the whole thing.
It's really pretty.
Thanks.
I like that color on you.
I do like this color, like I have this pink all the time, and then I put on a different color and I think, I kind of like that
There
color.
are other colors. There are.
Yes, there are. Anyway, definitely
So,
recommend this pattern. I want to do more of them. So the Radunculus is by Midori Heroes, and there's tons of projects on Ravelry. People have done different variations, more cropped, longer, short sleeved, long sleeved, in between, all different sorts of yarn. It's a fairly light gauge, so it's nice just to throw over something, over a dress, over a t-shirt, over whatever. It's really versatile.
it's really nice.
Thanks.
I actually have it lined up when we're talking about what we've acquired over the month. At the end, I actually have some yarn that I've set aside for one of those sweaters for summer.
Mm-hmm.
So
what are you wearing, Kelly?
Well, firstly, as promised, Beatrice is back in the studio today. And
we got her name straight.
Yes. Because I thought it was maybe a little warm to wear a shawl, and I thought maybe she wouldn't mind the heat. So she's wearing the Rainbow Autumn Zen Shawl by Diane Griffiths, and that is made in the Estelle Rainbow Autumn yarn. And then we bought that at Wool and Silk when we had a retreat a couple of years ago. It's a long, slow gradient yarn. So you can see all of the colors, and I used the full skein, and it was just one skein, and it's quite a generous shawl. It's just a triangular with a deep triangle. And yeah, it's a wool. It was wool and cotton as well, I believe.
Yeah, I think it did have cotton in it. I have the pulled up right
here.
So
it makes it really nice.
It's 50-50.
So it makes it a really nice light shawl, and it's something that I can easily throw on even in a summer evening or sitting out around the fire table. I like to have that one close by too, so I wear it a lot. And
nice, it's pretty.
I guess this is going to transition right on into finished objects, because this dress is this is a dress, and it's my first finished object. So it's actually the Pinafore by So Liberated, and I'm going to insert some pictures as we talk instead of trying to get up and move around. So the construction of the dress is it kind of looks like a baker's apron, and then at the back it has a series of panels that are set in and gathered, and the crisscross straps. I made this in a yarn dyed linen, and I do kind of feel like a baker in it sometimes. either a baker or a character from Beauty and the Beast. You know, when Belle has her basket walking through the town, her little French provincial town. I do kind of feel like that, but I have to say I really love the dress. And you can wear it over just a short sleeve t-shirt, or I've got a 3/4 length on today that I like. It's lightweight, it sits comfortable, and it's a high-low hem. So the back hangs longer than the front. Now, the pattern actually comes in 2 different lengths, and there's an apron length, which would be above the knee, or there's a mid-calf length, which is quite a bit longer. And I think the apron length, the idea behind that is that you could wear a longer dress underneath it, or maybe even just over a pair of jeans. But I ended up making it at a length kind of in between. So it hits me right at knee level, as you can see in the pictures. And I like to just use it as a summer dress. And it's incredibly comfortable, and the linen is really nice. I washed it and dried it a couple of times so it won't shrink any further. And it's soft, and
it's nice. The pattern in it almost looks like it could be a denim, but it's probably a lot softer than that.
Yes, it is. It's actually, it's really, really soft, and it's light. I mean, it's definitely, like, you can see through it in the sun, that's for sure. But I like it. I haven't sewn garments for myself in a long time. I did make a dress a year.
The metamorphic, right?
Metamorphic, yes. And I do like that. But I used to sew a lot of garments. I made a lot of my clothes, even my work clothes, business suits, and things like that. And in years, I haven't sewn. And so I just decided to put a little bit of time and effort back into it and pick it back up again. And it was really fun. So I made this dress last weekend, and I couldn't be happier with it.
Yeah, pretty.
So that's my first FO. You can go next.
Okay. My first FO is my socks from my Lucky Dip Cal. Okay. So these are, pardon me?
They turned out so pretty.
I like them. So this is, the Lucky Dip Cal is Kate of Hawthorne Cottage Craft. And this is where I put 12 skeins of yarn aside in a bag. My husband picks up one every month, and I finish a pair of socks. So this is actually, now pair number 5. So that's 5 pairs that I have done for Christmas already. This pattern is just my own pattern. It's a slip stitch, just a slip stitch detail down the sock. I did a 3x1 rib for the cuff, then the slip stitch down the sock, and then cut in heel. So the yarn is actually a bamboo blend.
Mm-hmm.
So it is online super sock bombas color. So it's 50% wool, 25% bamboo, and 25% nylon. Super soft. And I really liked how the colors kind of turned out in it. Yeah, and then my heel is just some leftover Madeline Tosh Twist Light in the Penumbra colorway. So now I did these socks entirely on my C-knit needle. I thought I had it sitting here, but I don't see it. Anyways, do you have yours, Kelly?
I do.
So the C-knit needle, oh, here it is. The C-knit needle is needles that Kelly ordered us from Knit Stitch in London. They're wood, they're swivel. They are a 1/2 inch longer on one needle than the other. The needle was fine. I wouldn't say it's my preferred needle. I like a sharper point. So the first row, I think you said the same thing. The first row was a little tough getting around the first row with the blunt end. But I mean, once I was done that, it was fine. But I wouldn't say that I would prefer it over a Chai-Gu. I would still rather have the sharper point. But I will still use it. I will still knit socks on it. But I'm not sure that it would be my go-to needle to buy if I was purchasing another one.
I would agree that it probably wouldn't be my highest rated needle, but I did really like it. Once I got past that first row, I really liked it because I like a blunter tip because I tend to puncture my fingers with the Chai-Gus. So for me, having the blunter tip is probably a good thing. And it's even though it's a wood needle, it's pretty slippery. I think the yarn that I would most like to do or to work with on the needle is something like a Regia. I like a little bit more of a rustic yarn when I'm using a wooden needle, but I didn't mind it. And
no, I didn't mind it. I know that I prefer a sharper tip.
And I also didn't, I was looking for, I guess, to notice something different because of the fact that the needle swivels, and it didn't add or deter from the knitting process.
In fact, unless I hold it up and go like that, I wouldn't even know that the needle.
I wouldn't know that it swiveled. So,
and I didn't find the 1/2 inch length in the one needle made all that much of a difference either.
No. Well, the socks that I used it for, though, actually are 68 stitches because it's a patterned sock that I'm making. So that's more stitches than I would normally use. Right. I would usually put 60 stitches on for a sock if I'm knitting one for myself. But since it's a patterned sock, it went up to a 68 stitch. So I didn't notice a difference, but that could be because I had 8 additional stitches to work with as well.
Right. So, but I mean, I didn't notice a difference as far as like I held the needle any different than I did with the ones with the same length tips.
No. Oh, okay. You're talking about the one needle being a 1/2 inch longer. No, I didn't even really notice. So I held the longer needle in my right hand.
Yes, so did I.
Right. And it didn't feel like it was any longer to me than the one on the left.
Do you when you use that, did you still do English style, like still throw?
Yes.
Okay. See, I still find with the smaller circumference, I have to do continental, or it just is too slow. So I didn't find that length gave me any more length that I could go back to my using English style again. I still had to use continental. which is fine, because especially if you're just doing round and round, it's not,
it doesn't bother me any way, shape, or form to use the smaller needles. I can still knit English. I can do continental. I can do pattern knitting. I can do cables on them. There's nothing about them that inhibits me. When I started working with them, I thought they were too small, and now I'm completely used to it, and I actually really, really like them. Probably my preferred method now for a sock, for sure. So
okay. So, do you have another finished object?
I do. And it's a knitting one too. So I'll add some pictures in here too, but I'll just hold this one up to show you. So I finished the Dishane, there we go, the Dishane sweater. And so I bought this yarn, a couple of, it's, so the Dishane pattern is by Layla Raven. And the yarn is Gadifra in the blueberry color, but I would call it definitely gray. So you can see that it's like a variegated. It has some lights and darks, and it's really showing up to me on camera. So I bought it at a show, and it was kitted, so there was enough yarn to make the sweater. Now I made the size medium and ran out of yarn, so I'm not sure. There were two sizes above medium. There was a large and an extra large in the pattern. So I'm not sure how that would have fared for anybody else that bought the kit. But so then I had to go on a mad hunt looking for yarn, and I found the yarn, but obviously I couldn't match the dye lot. So the sweater is, I should preface all of this by saying this is a project knit and not a process knit, because I enjoyed nothing of the process, and that has nothing to do with the pattern, and really has very little to do with the yarn. It has to do with the fact that I had to source some additional yarn that turned the process into a bit of a nightmare for me. So I had already knit the front, and I actually knit it one repeat longer, because also the yarn, I couldn't get gauge for the pattern. So I was getting, I could get stitch gauge, but I couldn't get the row gauge. So the sweater is already cropped, and it tells you to do 4 repeats of the pattern. And by the time I had done 4 repeats of the pattern, it would barely have covered my chest, and that would be very cropped. So I just decided to knit an extra pattern repeat. And then when I got the yarn, it was very obvious to me that there were some color differences in the dye lot. I was hoping that there would be less of a color difference because it is a commercially dyed yarn. And it's also a chainette construction. So this was my first time using a chain construction yarn, and I didn't mind that at all. I quite liked it. So what I decided that I would have to do would be to alternate the skeins, but because there was such a difference, and since the sweater was actually knitted a front piece and a back piece, so I couldn't use like a helical knitting method so that the colors would blend a little more evenly. So by the time I started doing this, and I know that we aren't supposed to like run to the errors on our projects, but I'm going to have to this time. So you can see it's very stripy on the back. But here's what happened in the process. So after I knit the back, and I was really unhappy about the way that worked out, but excuse me, once I put the sleeves on, because it's such a drop shoulder, because it's a really boxy construction, you can tell, you see where the sleeves, wait a second. See where the sleeve almost lines up with where I, excuse me, where I started the alternating of the colors. So I alternated the colors. Now the sleeves are knit in circular, so I could do a helical method.
Yeah.
So you can see, like, it looks stripy, but it's less pronounced than the back. But when I'm wearing the sweater, it actually lines right up. So it kind of looks, I am so sorry. We're not editing this out.
But it's Kelly, like when you hold it up and the camera looks at it, the camera picks up a lot more than what you would see just in.
But even there, like where it's right,
you can see how it lines up with the sleeve.
It looks like it lines up. So it's almost as if, I'm just going to say that was a design element that I chose. And we're going to roll with that because it's my sweater and I can say what I want to say about it. But I really like the fit.
Mhm.
My intentions for it are to wear it like probably over just like a tank style dress
Dress. Yeah.
or a jumper,
Yep.
and probably something black just because it is so dark. And I mean, you definitely have to wear it over something. It's really lacy and open. And then once I blocked it, it really opened up. So I'm happy with the finished project. It did take me a while to get there because I started it last summer. And then once I ran into difficulties, it spent the winter in timeout. But then, I'm thinking I didn't have a lot left to do on it. I basically had that half a back and then the two sleeves, which are pretty small. And I thought I'm going to pull this out and finish it up. And I did finish it up this week. Happy with the project, the way it came together. Just wasn't so
Yeah,
thrilled
we
with
had
the
we had a
process.
whole lot of fun phone calls about how much you hated knitting that sweater.
But I didn't want to give up on it because I really knew that I would like it when it was done.
But that's the whole thing. Like, to me, I think for both of us, we're not definitely one or the other, a process or a product, because there's some things that we do because we want the finished product. And then there's like, honestly, I can say a lot of my shawls that I knit where I simply just wanted to knit them.
Yes.
Right. The stitch design, the feel of the yarn in my hand. I just wanted to knit it. It wasn't like I have to have this. I want this. I just enjoyed the whole process of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and
especially with a shawl, because most times you're not worried about any detailed shaping or, you don't have to be too concerned about gauge. So it's just an enjoyable process.
The other thing that I will note to anybody that's thinking of purchasing that yarn, because I actually bought a second sweater quantity in it when I was ordering the additional skein for the sweater. Yep. I thought, well, I'm here anyway, and it happened to be on sale at the store that I had found it at, and they had a white. It was like just a creamy white. So I actually bought a sweater quantity of the same yarn. So I didn't mind the yarn, but what I really didn't care for with that color is that it bled like mad. And I would work on the sweater for an hour and then I could take it and my hands were black. And even like I tensioned my yarn around my pinky and it looked like I had a black ring around my finger. It washed off really easy. So I made sure that I gave it some extra time soaking. And I had been hopeful. I thought maybe by that much dye coming out in the water, maybe that would sort of blend the colors a little bit better. It didn't do anything like that. But I definitely left it in there to soak for a good period of time because I was concerned that the first time I wear it, I was going to end up looking like a blueberry once I took it off.
Or get it on whatever else you've got underneath it.
Yeah. So, and I may even, it may get a couple of more soaks too. I'm not sure.
Did a lot come out? Did a lot come out?
Oh, yes. That water was so dark. Yeah. A lot came out. So it was, I'm not sure what type of a process that would be that there'd be so much dye left in there.
Because cotton's
I've never had that.
Is it cotton or linen?
It's a cotton and linen.
Okay.
So, but anyway, happy with the sweater.
Good.
Okay. And you?
Okay. I do have another EPO. So I had shown this on Knit Chat, but this is my second lightweight hipster.
Yeah.
So this is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. It's very similar to her original hipster that came out a few years ago, but this one is in a fingering weight yarn. So it actually makes a perfect weight for more like an accessory type item rather than for warmth, right? More, just to throw around your neck to give it some color. Or, it does provide a little bit of warmth, but it's certainly not like a DK or a worsted weight shawl. So this is done in Shirley Bryan yarns. This is her deconstructed fade. And this color is called Pour Myself a Cup of Ambition. So in order to get it to stripe out like that, I rolled both skeins because they come in 2 50-gram matched skeins. So I rolled them both, started with one, and then because you're knitting back and forth, I would do 2 rows and then switch to the other skein of yarn. So then basically, my yellow got used up at the same time. The kind of the taupey color got used up at the same time. I just carried it down the edge of the shawl, so there was not anything extra to sew in at the end. And then what I did was when I came to all these crossover stitches, because they require quite a bit of yarn, I would weigh the two skeins before each one, and whichever one had the most amount of yarn in it, whichever one was the heaviest, I would use that to do the crossovers. Right? So that to get the yarn to kind of work out evenly. When I got to the end for the little tassels, I actually took the same amount of yarn from the inside of both skeins. Like I figured out how many little tassels I would need, took the yarn, and then just knit till I ran out of yarn. So I do think I have a couple of extra of the garter repeats at the end because I wanted to use up all the yarn that I had. So really happy with it. She's got beautiful, beautiful colors that would look so nice doing something like this. And again, you're not really doing anything. Like the yarn basically does all the work. And I think, you know, you still see the pattern in it. So it still shows up the pattern nicely, and yeah, really happy with it. And the drape is really nice. I did it on a 4.5 millimeter needle. That's what the pattern calls for. Although I'm not sure that I get quite the stretch out of it that Hohi gets, because I think she actually knits fairly loose. So, but I mean, I'm perfectly happy with this. It's certainly, you can see, it's certainly long enough, and and the little tassels hang down at the side.
And I like the colors again for you. It's not something that you would normally choose.
No, it's not. But I mean, that's a good way to bring in another color too, right? Just in a shawl, because you could wear that with a gray t-shirt, a black t-shirt, or turtlenex in the winter, throw it on with your jean jacket. Like it would go with a lot of different things. And it just gives a plain thing a pop of color. So yeah. And I loved knitting it.
It's such a fun pattern.
It is.
I've done 2 of the hipsters, and then I did the lightweight hipster as well. Now, when I knit my hipster, the lightweight hipster, I actually ran a little short on the yarn, and I ended up having to find a little bit of a color I lost at Yarn Chicken. So I ran out for the tassels, but I found another yarn that blended in really well. I can't tell. I can't find them at all. But, you know, you were able to get some extra rows, and I basically ran out. So you can just tell, like, it's how we knit, right? Because you definitely knit tighter than I knit. So
yeah. Well, it's partly that. It's also partly like you can tell someone a skein of fingering weight yarn. But first of all, if you weigh your skein before you use it, a lot of skeins could be heavier, which means you have more yarn. Or some skeins have like 463 yards, some are only 400 yards, right? So one skein of fingering weight yarn is not the same across all the different brands that there are out there. So,
but I love the shawl projects where you can get a decent sized shawl out of one skein.
Yeah.
Right. I like that, because we all have skeins that we've bought along the way that are pretty and they're unique. And you're always thinking, well, you know, they were just kind of that one-off skein. What am I going to do with it? I mean, you had intention with that one when you bought it. You knew where you were headed. But shawls like that, especially when there's a lot of really open work stitches. We've talked about that before. They lend themselves really well to a highly variegated yarn as well, because there's so much of the yarn that actually shows in the stitch. That's right. In that, so it works out really nice.
Yeah. Okay.
I have another one.
Okay.
We talked about this on Knit Chat too, because I couldn't contain myself, but I made, and I'm just now trying to remember the yarn. It was the Peyton's sock yarn. I can see it, but I'm trying to see the ball band.
Is it the Croy?
No, but it's a stretchy sock.
Oh, okay.
So they have a lot of stretch, and yes, they are little baby socks, and they are gender neutral. And the reason that I knit them is because we are going to be expanding our family, and my daughter and her partner Derek are having a baby. So I will be a grandma for the first time. So this is the first little knitted project for the grandbaby. They do not want to find out the gender of the baby. So at this point, everything has to be gender neutral. And this was just a little bit that I had left over. And like I said, they're like a stretchy cotton.
Yeah.
So I thought they'd be great for baby feet, and they worked out really cute.
Yeah, they're cute.
So baby's coming October the 26th is the due date at this point. And we could not be more excited. I could not be more excited. I'm already planning all the things to sew, all the things to knit. So future episodes of this are likely going to be filled with some baby projects.
Babies are so much fun, and they're so little and cute, and they work out
Yeah, so I
quick.
might actually have more finished projects.
There you go.
Because now they're smaller. Although I have to say, knitting baby socks are not quick. Like they're smaller, they're tedious.
How to do everything that you do in a normal sock, it's just on a smaller scale.
Exactly. So it's not like you're whipping through in an hour and knitting a pair of socks, but these are cute. So just add these
and you
to
can't do those on the small circumference needles. You have to use.
And maybe that's why they were so fiddly too, right? Like
especially if you've been used to doing it on the 9-inch for a while, and then you switch back to doing it a different way. It can feel what your muscle memory changes.
That's right. So anyway, that's my happy news. Happy news for the podcast.
I know. And you know what? October 26th. Zoe's birthday is October 25th.
Perfect. It's been so hard not to tell. I mean, I found out in February, and my daughter said, no. Like, they wanted to wait it to an appropriate time to tell. And so she said, you can't tell anybody. So I will admit right away, I called Noelle and I told her because
you have to tell somebody.
You have to tell somebody. I've waited so long for this. And I just thought, no, I'm going to tell Noelle, because really what impact is Noelle knowing going to have on my family or anything?
Yeah, Kelly, I did not even tell Ross.
Oh, I know. You told no one. It was great. But it was at least somebody that I could chat with or chat to about it over the months. And so finally I got the green light that we're okay to tell. So I did share it on Knit Chat last week, and she said, I'm sure, your viewers will want to see. And I said, I'm going to be making projects that I won't be able to show. So you have to give me the green light. So it's, but she's doing really well. Baby's doing really well. I think this week her app said that baby is the size of a large bell pepper. And she told me last night that she thinks she's feeling movement. She doesn't know. And I said, well, if you think you are, there's a really good possibility that that's exactly what it is. But, first time moms, you don't know.
No.
But anyway, all is well. And we're super, super excited.
Yeah.
So, okay. Do you have something else?
I do. Okay. So you'll see when we get to works in progress, that last podcast, I had a sweater, 2 sweaters that just needed sleeves. Okay. Well, they still just need sleeves because I had one sweater that I only just done one sleeve and it basically took over. I couldn't put it down. So that is my Primrose sweater.
It's absolutely beautiful.
So this is a pattern by Marie Wallen. It's done in her British Breeds yarn, which is a blend of Wensleydale, Blueface Leicesters, Wartbols, and Exmoor Horn. I believe that the yarn is spun at the John Arbin mill. I love it. This yarn is like a dream. It's just super soft, but it's got all the qualities that you want in a sweater that you do color work with. It just was addictive. I just seriously, honestly couldn't put it down, even though I've had it on once to take a few pictures, and Kelly will pop a few pictures in, but obviously it's going to be too hot to wear it until next September, but it'll be all ready for next September.
It would be hard to put that down, because that's the type of sweater that when you're working on that color work, you're like, it's almost like a puzzle. Like, oh, I just want to get
I just want to see. I know. I just want to see
what this one's going to look like, because there's so many colors and so many combinations. And
there's
your interest would have stayed there for the whole sweater for sure.
And I had done the sleeves first. So I was done the sleeve part. So that was good, because I did the sleeves first. It doesn't call for you to do that, but I did the sleeves first because I wanted to kind of check my gauge, because I didn't do a gauge swatch. So I did the sleeves first. I mean, I had a pretty good idea. I had a pretty good idea it was going to be okay. But so once the sleeves were done, I was doing the body and I was a little bit concerned because I read someone's project on Ravelry that said that they knit it the way the pattern said, and the like where the sleeves split off was like down here. And I thought, well, I don't want that. Like I want to be able to put my arms up and use the sweater. So what I did was I went to the pattern and I counted. You're doing this bottom up. So I counted all the rows past, or all the rounds, because you join it in the round once you get up to the arms. I counted all the rows like from here up to the top of the yoke. And then based on my gauge, figured out how long that was going to be. And that was going to be too long for me. Okay. So I changed it and I knit up farther before I joined it. Now in doing that, originally in the original pattern, when you join, you're joining on this gold row here, and it's just a plain gold row all the way across the round. So because I didn't do that and I didn't join it till up like in this part here. So I didn't know whether that pattern would be aligned. So because you already done the sleeve and you were just going in the round. So I had to kind of do some math and figure out.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So I had to like count where exactly am I going to put this sleeve in and what point in the pattern do I need to be to. So when I continued knitting up the sleeves, I could start in the right part in the pattern so it would all join up and the pattern wouldn't be interrupted when I joined it up. So, and then when you're doing the sleeve pattern, there's a graph of the sleeve and you get up to about this point and then you just have to go back to the beginning and then knit it again, but it doesn't tell you how many stitches you are out from the start of the pattern. But that's where Knit Companion comes in, because I just used Knit Companion and aligned it using the Knit Companion, and you could line the pattern up right on top of the other, and then you kind of knew where you had to start for the second sleeve. Like you could count backwards out to where in the pattern you had to start. So I wouldn't necessarily say that this is probably like a beginner's pattern.
No.
Like
no.
And not even so much in just the color work, but just in how it's written. And
if you have to make any adjustments too,
yes,
like that,
yes.
that would be tricky. Yeah.
Yeah. But I am so glad. Like that it was probably another 1.25 inches that I went up before. And I don't think I would have been happy if I had have done it the other way.
Yeah. It would have sat too low in the armpits.
Yeah. So now I'm addicted. I want to just knit color work all the time.
Well, you are knitting another one, aren't you?
I am.
You are.
So anyway, again, I loved knitting it. Love the sweater. The yarn's amazing. It's a lot of fun. Again, yeah, like I said, I didn't want to put it down. I wanted to keep knitting. And this one, I bought a kit. I bought a kit from the Woolly Thistle. So basically, they had all the colors and told you where to put the colors. Because I was a little bit intimidated about putting colors together yourself, because I had the pattern book, but I don't know. I just thought, 14 colors. I don't know. But we'll see in the next one. I'm getting past that.
But I think, like as long as you stay in that same color family, because I know with the next one, you chose those colors yourself. Yep. And you lay out all your colors, and if they're all complementary together, I don't think you can really go wrong, because you're doing a great job with the one that you're making.
So. We'll see. And I mean, the thing is, like, I like it, and I guess it's going to be my sweater. So if someone else doesn't like the colors together, I might not like their colors together, right? Everybody's taste is different in colors, right? So it just depends what you like. It just is, though. It is sometimes a little bit intimidating to put a bunch of colors together. Mm-hmm. So, but again, I think you're right. If you just if they're all kind of in the same tone or the same, or not too many different ones in there. But again, I've seen lots of things where there's piles of colors put in there and it looks great.
Or you could basically just take 3 or 4 favorite colors, and then you do varying degrees of that color, like a lighter shade of that to a darker shade, your mid-range, and then but it's so pretty. It looks great.
Thanks. I'm really like it. Like I said, I would love to use this yarn for everything, but it's just a little too cost prohibitive. so we'll just have one in this. Yeah, I actually have enough yarn left, because there were 2. I still have a full skein of the gold. I still have a full skein of the light green. I probably got enough that I could do. I wouldn't do socks in it because it's too soft, even though there are sock patterns. But I would do like a leg warmer that looked like the top of a sock. Do you know what I mean? Like just kind of from the ankle up, and then that would look really cute wearing the sweater and then having those in the boot. but I wouldn't do a whole sock in it because I think the bottom of it would wear out too quickly.
Or you could just do a plain bottom in another color.
And then
I
could do that.
Topper in your color work, and then that would be up above your boots. Yeah,
that would be a good idea. Yeah, because I wouldn't do the whole sock in that. I just think that it would wear, and that would be devastating if you did a whole color work sock in that, and then they wore out in the bottom. So
then you have to get a sock egg out and do some darning. And
I know. Okay, I have one more finished object. That I didn't finish. Okay. I didn't finish this one. Okay, so it's another pair of socks. So these socks are called Wish You Were Here. And these were a gift from Rachel, my daughter-in-law, for Mother's Day. So she knit them for me. She was even showing them to me while she was knitting them. But the whole time I thought they were for her. And then actually she told me a couple of days before Mother's Day because she couldn't wait.
They're so pretty. She did a great job.
So pretty. She did an awesome job. The pattern is by the Kitchen Sink Shop. And I do believe it's a free pattern on Ravelry. The yarn is Full Moon Fibers Asteroid Sock. And this is their Into the Forest colorway. Like the colorway, I don't know if you can see it there. Like the colorway is beautiful.
It
like
is.
It's got really just soft, I don't know, like pastel-y colors, but then that little hint of the charcoaly black. And then the heel she actually did with yarn that I gave her. So it's Timber Yarns.
Timber Yarns licorice.
Yes. Yeah. Because she's like, well, which one?
We know our yarns.
Yeah. She said, which color do you think would look best? I'm like, oh yeah, that one for sure. That one. And again, that was before I knew that the socks were for me. So yeah.
Rachel is a newish knitter too.
Yeah.
And she has really taken to it, and she's doing so well, and she's fearless. Like she will just jump into projects. Yeah.
Well, she's doing the Hipster light now, right? So she's done some of her rows of the crossovers. And again, she said the same thing that we say, how long it takes. And she goes, but I just remember what you said. When I get done that row, then I've done a whole inch on the
That's
shawl.
Right. Yeah, so, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, so that's so nice to get those, and they fit perfect. Because she would normally do a 64 stitch sock, but she knew they for me, so she did 60 stitch sock. And I was telling her
I love that colorway.
I love it. I was actually thinking of getting that color. I was telling her that. I said, oh, I might get some of that to do some socks, and then these ended up being for me. So
lucky lady.
Yeah. So that's it for FOs for me.
Okay. Me too.
Okay.
So we could move on to our whips. Okay. Do you want to start with whips? I only have one.
Okay. I have several. I think just three. I just have three. Okay. So this one, you inspired me, Kelly.
Oh.
It's my mitered square dishcloth.
I'm doing something right if I'm inspiring dishcloths.
It's so much fun. Like it. I don't know. Like I liked it better than knitting. Well, I just you get used to knitting the other one, right? And then it's not anything different. So I just striped it. So this is Cottonlicious. I can't remember who the brand is, but it's 100% cotton, really soft. This is Sugar and Cream. So this is old stash. I think this has got to be old, like 25 years. But it's such a pretty color because it's got little flecks of all different colors in it. And then it looks really nice when you just pair it up with a solid.
Absolutely.
So anyways, this, I don't know what pattern you used, but this one is called Mitered Christmas Dishcloth because in the pattern they did it in red and green. But
I didn't use a pattern. I cast on 75 stitches and went to work.
Well, that's exactly what this is, 75 stitches. And that is, I mean, you don't really need anything other than that. But I'll still link that in case somebody wanted. And it is written out row by row. But I mean, basically, once you know where your double center decrease is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, really, really happy with it. So I might finish that today.
You might. I ordered more Dishy, actually, yesterday. Knitpicks is having a 15% off sale. If anybody still sees this over the weekend, they are having 15% off for the entire weekend, or I think it runs to the end of this weekend. And that's their site-wide sale. So I did I did order a sweater quantity of yarn. Then I bought some Dishy, and then I bought some yarn that I have intentions of making. Actually, a crocheted baby blanket. It's a cotton blend, so it'll be really
Okay.
soft. And
That was from
I
Knit Picks too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But I did order more Dishy, and I ordered more of the marled twist because that's the Dishy twist that I used on mine last time. And then I ordered, they have coordinating colors, the solids, and I was going to do some more like that as well. I like that mitered square with the stripe. And then I also thought it would be nice to make some that maybe have, because I could get from using that 75 stitch from 2 balls, I think I would be able to get 4 dishcloths.
Yeah.
Which I think is really good value,
Yep.
considering even without 15% off, it's only $4 a
Yep.
ball anyway. And our Canadian dollar is a little bit better right now, so it was good value. But I thought if I cast on a few less stitches, it would be really nice to make just some little baby washcloths.
Yep.
So I have a couple of gender neutral colors picked out that I'm
Well,
going to do for Kendall.
Like we use ones like these even when the girls are over, just for like for washing their face down after they finish an ice cream cone or
Yeah, exactly.
right. And they're 100% cotton, so nice and soft, and then you can throw them in the washer and dryer. So
very good. Is that it for your whips? No,
that was just one. Okay.
I lost track.
Okay. So this is my second whip. So this is a sweater, a sleeveless sweater. It's not going to be sleeveless. Right at the moment, it's sleeveless.
It's on Sleeve Archipelago.
Yeah, that Sleeve Archipelago. I have 4 sweaters right now that all they need is sleeves. Anyways, and what did I do? I cast on more things. Anyway, this is the Felix cardigan. And it is by Amy Christophers. So this is going to be just like a little cardigan to throw on in the summer. It's really lightweight. It's done in, just a minute here, Elan, if you remember that yarn from a while ago. So that is their Silken Kid, which is 70% mohair, 30% silk. And then the other yarn is Diamond Luxury Summertime Light. And this one is a blend of acrylic, cotton, linen, and polyester. So, and it's kind of multicolored, but then you put them together and you just kind of get it's almost like a mother of pearl kind of.
It's such a pretty color when it's together.
Well, yeah. So I think it'll be good for the summer, like in the evening, just to throw over if you've just got a tank top or something on, or a summer dress, or anyway, having fun knitting it. I think basically I did follow the pattern, but the gauge was a little bit looser, and I actually did a gauge swatch. And I started with the 6 millimeter needle that the pattern recommended, and then I went down to a 5 because I didn't like the fabric on the 6. It was just too loose. I went down to the 5. My gauge is a little smaller, but then I just went up a pattern size. So because I was happier, I knew I would be happier with that gauge in the. So
I like that pattern. I've seen, it's a really popular pattern, but it has that nice little raglan detail.
Yes. Yep.
It's just something to give it that little something special, right? It's really pretty.
Yep. And I did my
tubular.
Yep. Same with on the bottom. So I do have one band done. So hopefully, for sure, I'll have the sleeves of this one finished by next time. So my other 2 that I was working on, one was the feather cardigan that I had the hand spun in the yoke, and the other one was the Aldous pullover. So they kind of got put by the side, but I am going to get them done. But realistically, they're not sweaters I'm going to be wearing now until next September. But I got to get off. Get off that Sleeve Archipelago. Forget Sleeve Island. Sleeve Island would be a breeze.
Okay. I cast these on last night, and I just didn't want to put them down.
Ooh, I like those.
Yes.
This is the one you were talking about, the Summer Lee ones.
The little boxes socks.
Oh, those are cute, Kelly.
I know, right? Look at that. How cool are they? And this really is a fantastic way to use up the tiniest little balls. Now, So I'm using the heels and toes will be the same green. And this is Knit Picks Stroll, and it's in pea pod. So this is what I have the most of that I need the
Right.
least of. But anyway, this is
Of course.
this color is a pair of socks that I made for Kendall, and it is, oh gosh, I know the name of the colorway. It's Demon Hunter, and it is so pretty.
Yeah.
Black cat fibers. There we go. From
Okay.
BC. And then mine and Noelle's most used favorite color, classic gray.
Classic gray.
From Leo and Roxy, and their basic
But it
line.
does. It goes with everything.
There's nothing it doesn't go with.
No.
I mean, just look at these three colors
Yep.
together. They
look
calling it
perfect.
to me a pair of socks, right?
They are.
And I didn't have very much of this color left from Kendall's socks because I didn't use contrast heels and toes when I made them. I made all over socks, so I only had a little bit. But I think I had and then I had gifted a small skein away to somebody in a little mini exchange. So I think I only have 25 grams. But on the largest size, I think you only need 23 grams of the main color. Those are shorty socks, by the way.
Okay.
I don't have my little bumpers on the end, so I'm being mindful not to lose stitches because I did that a couple of times last night. But so I've already got my waste yarn in there for my afterthought heel. And yeah, I just think they're fun. They're really fun. I just love the colors in them too. So, and it's a very easy, like once you see the little chart, it's 4 stitches repeated over 5 rows. It's very basic. And I think, I don't know, what did I say? They're from Summer Lee Design Co. And they're just fun. But
you could use up a lot of tiny little scraps because you could put a different color.
Bit.
You could put a different color in each one of those rows, and you'd have like a little stained glass window effect almost.
Yeah, and then you'd have a million ends to weave.
Yeah, well, I've done lots of projects where I have a million ends to weave.
Well, I'm doing my my little following my own little
weaving them in. Yeah.
I'm weaving as I go, and then I just cut them off so they're not like super short. Let me see. You can see there. I leave about 3/8 of an inch.
Okay.
That little gray piece. Stick it over my hair, and so I just pop it back in, and that way I don't have ends hanging out when I'm working on the sock. And I do have a little tutorial that I put up on the Tangled Stitch channel for how to weave your ends as you go so that you don't end up with a lot, so that when I'm done these, I will be done them. And I might even go in and put the heel in before I finish the sock, so that when I do finish the toe, I'm done.
You're done. Yep.
Right. But they're fun. They're so fun. And I'm having fun.
Yep.
Okay. What else have you got?
Okay. Now I have my latest. So this is my next Marie Wallen project. And this is the Yell cardigan. It's kind of rolling up at the bottom there. But anyways, you can get an idea of what it kind of looks like at the bottom. And then when you so now I've done all the color work at the bottom. So now this pattern here, that's kind of the gray and the pale pink in here, this is what gets repeated for the entire body of the sweater. Right. So this is like a border at the bottom, and then this gets repeated just at the top. Okay. So the yarn I'm using is Holskarn Super Soft. And I'm actually knitting from the 2 main colors I have on cones. So I'm actually knitting from cones. This is their Oxford colorway, and this is Sweet Pea. And then the other colors, I'll show you them quickly here. This color I absolutely love. This, and it's not pink. This color is called
really
Cinnamon.
Close to your sweater.
I know, but it's gorgeous, and you can see like different little flecks of different like tweedy colors in it. Like I actually have enough of this to do a whole sweater in this. And then this is called Elderberry. This one is Willow. So it's just like a pale greenish gray. This one is Flannel Gray. This one it's called Sage Blue. So it's kind of like a greenish blue. This one is called Kingfisher. This one is called Slow. This one is called Damask. And this one is called Almond.
So when these are all go grab colors, that's great.
Pardon me?
You really did have to grab colors. That's great.
Yes, yeah, there's a lot of colors in it, and some of them are close, but then you get that subtle variation in the shades at the bottom. But these were all colors that I hadn't specifically bought for any project. I didn't have any project in mind. I just really liked the colors. Well, you tend to like colors in the same kind of palette range. Yeah. So when I pulled them out, I thought, I didn't even figure out where I was going to put what colors. I just started knitting. All I knew were my two main colors. And I had those colors, and I thought, well, I'm just going to start knitting and see how I like it. So there was one point when I got to, where was it? In the middle of this here. Mm-hmm. And I actually put two colors together there, and I couldn't see them. Like they looked, and actually I'm going to give you some pictures to put in, Kelly, but I didn't take a picture of them in black and white before I did it. And they looked different enough that they should have worked. But they didn't. They were too close. And then when I took a picture in black and white, if I had done that first, I would have known that they wouldn't have worked. Mm-hmm. So, like, I can't.
That's a great way to find out, because we had been talking about that, I think, in Knit Chat, or maybe it was on one of our threads on Ravelry. Yeah. Just that's a good way to determine if you're uncertain if two colors will be enough contrast for your color work. If you take a picture and then look at it in black and white, if you can't see a sharp contrast, then it's not going to translate into the color. Yeah.
And it's different, like in some of it's different if you're going from, like you've got one band of color and you're going into the next band of color that's a stripe, because then it's more definable, right? You can kind of see it. But if you've got a pattern in the middle of a color, they've really got to be, if you want to really see it, they've got to have high contrast. Mm-hmm. So
absolutely.
Anyway, but I just like, I really like how the colors are working together, and it's a steeked cardigan. So even though I've got all those ends in the middle, I don't have to sew them all in because they'll all get tacked down when I do the steek. Mm-hmm. It's also got steeks for the sleeves. I think it said to sew the shoulders together, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the slope of the shoulder, keep it on a needle, and then do a 3-needle bind off. Mm-hmm. So, and I have the pattern itself. I think I've got the book here. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Okay, so it's in this book, Shetland, and of course I can never find it. But the pattern is quite wide, like it's a really boxy cardigan, and it's, for me, it's just too much cardigan. So I had to kind of make a modification there too, and I cut out 8 inches in the body. So as I go up again, I'm going to have to really be careful when I do, like, there's the, right? So it's quite boxy. So when I get up, I'm going to have to be careful about when you divide up, like dividing evenly, right? So that I've got an even amount of stitches for each. And then I'm just going to go from there. And this one kind of like, it kind of goes up in the front. I don't want mine to do that. So I'm going to do some modifications to make it just so that
it wouldn't be a Noelle knit if you didn't make a modification.
Well, I just want it to be kind of like a regular cardigan. It's not going to have, it's got a shawl collar and it's not going to have buttons, but I don't want it to ride up. I just want it to be like a regular cardigan. And that one looks quite short, although quite short on her would probably be long enough for me.
Just fine for you.
So, anyway, yeah, so it's a lot of fun. So now I'm Holst Garn is available at Little Red Mitten because you bought some there.
Yep.
You can also order directly from the Holst site. It comes in tons of colors. It's just nice, like when we go to Little Red Mitten or you go somewhere where you can actually see the colors, because sometimes the color on a computer monitor just doesn't do it justice, right?
It's a beautiful yarn to use though for color work, because it's got a lot of tooth to the, it's a tacky yarn. So it's perfect. It's like the perfect color work yarn.
Yep. Yep. And it does, I mean, I have knit with it before. I have done sweaters with it before. And when you're knitting with it, it does feel stiff and crunchy, but once you wash it and it blooms, and a lot of the spinning oil comes out with it.
Different. It's a different yarn altogether.
Yeah. And it's definitely a more affordable yarn than the one that I just did the Primrose in.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, and it's been kind of fun putting the colors together.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any more finished objects? Oh no, we're not talking about finished objects. Whips.
No. I have things that I'm still working on, but I've showed them before.
Well, that's right. I have 3 whips from last time that I haven't even touched since last time. So
yeah, so we're just going to let those sit there and percolate, and hopefully I'll get a little more work done on them.
But you know what? Like, we're in lockdown. You have to enjoy what you're knitting. It's supposed to be fun.
But we're rolling out. We are rolling out of
are.
lockdown as of today in Ontario. So we're in Ontario, as we said, as of today, you can actually get together in a group of 5. Now, I'm not sure why they specify 5, because, you know, a lot of adults sort of congregate in pairs. So if you can't have 3 couples, you can have 2 couples and a single, but you can congregate outside in a group of 5. And I have to believe that soon we'll be able to get together a little bit more. Yeah. So this may be
fingers crossed,
our last podcast
apart.
Separate, but apart. Hopefully that we can get together for a podcast soon. That would be amazing. It's been so long since I've seen you.
I know.
I can't believe how long it's been. When I saw you, your hair was to here.
Was it really? Yeah, probably. Well,
you know what?
Like, it's grown a lot.
I was looking at pictures. I think, you know, on your phone, like memories pop up. And I think one of the memories that popped up was from Columbus. And then there was some from New York, and your hair was so short. Like, look what lockdown has given you long tresses.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's not going to be apparently like there's no hair salons opening before July.
No.
So.
No. I've just been trimming mine over the bathroom sink. For a year and a half now, right? So, but anyway, is what it is. There's an end to it. There's a little glimmer of light at the end of this very long and has been a dark tunnel. So we're tremendously excited about the potential of being able.
I know, like I'm excited that we can just even have 5 people in the backyard. Like,
I know, right?
I can have Rachel and the 2 granddaughters over for lunch. We can eat in the backyard.
Imagine that. I know.
It's amazing, because things that you took for granted, and now like we're allowed this one little thing, and it's like it brings such tremendous joy. Just
I know, we could get together. We could get together and we could knit under the bridge again. You know, like we can go for a walk with somebody. It's super exciting. Super exciting. So, okay. So do you have anything else that you're working on, or?
I'll just show you my finished yarn that I spun.
Okay.
So this first one. Okay. So this is John Arbin, and it is his Yarnadelic line, and this color is called, I forget. That's not what it's called. It's called, just a minute, I have it written down. I think I would remember it after spinning that much yarn, but it is called Nobody Knows. So he names this particular line after different songs. So if you look really close, like you can see, it's a blended Corriedale. Mm-hmm. It's got all different colors in it, but it kind of reads like a grayish teal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've basically got 200 grams of a sport weight.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. Would that be a sport weight? Yeah. Yep.
So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know what I'm going to make with it yet, but I'm pretty happy with that. And then this one.
Ooh, that's pretty.
So this is merino. It's from Fleece Artist, and it was just a pack that I bought for felting. And basically, I just pulled all the colors that weren't pastels and put them together and thought, they look okay together. And then I would just pull pieces off so that I'm spinning. I'd get a long thing of all different colors and then plied them together. And this is what it came out like.
Kind of like crazy yarn.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm actually thinking that this I've got enough of this.
Looks shifty.
to
Looks
use-
shifty
yeah.
to me.
So but I think I'm going to do it in the shifty sweater, because I've actually managed to get like a heavier 4-ply this time, like finger.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then if I just pick like a solid base color, like either a charcoal gray or an oatmeal color might look nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll just get those. So I think that's what I'm going to do with it.
I love it.
So like it's, and I hope this never changes, but it was the same thing when I started weaving. Like you see the cloth come together and it's like mesmerizing. And this is when you spin it and it actually turns into yarn. I'm like, I just can't believe it. Like, I hope I'm that excited about spinning well into the future. But it's so nice because at least for me, I really don't have any idea what the finished yarn is going to come out like until I apply that together.
No.
So,
and then even after you get your finished yarn, you still really don't know what it's going to look like as a knitted item until you've got it going into something. Yeah.
So
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, so those were fun. So that's what I've been spinning. Okay. So on to acquisitions. I didn't buy any yarn.
Okay, I
just wanted to say that right out there.
I didn't even know if this was going to come in before podcast time, so I'll just show it. I bought little yarn. I did buy sweater quantities, okay? And it's the drop spell. So there was a big sale at Wool Warehouse. And I also have to say that it got from the UK to Sarnia in 9 days, which I thought was incredible considering sometimes I can't get something across our own country in that time. So this is
our own country. How about just from one part in Ontario to another?
Well, okay, across Ontario even then, sure. So this is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. So this is what I was talking about when I said I was thinking about the Radunculus.
Okay.
So the ball seems so small. So this is it's like a purple.
Ooh, that's pretty. Yeah.
Tone. And that's coming out as I move closer to my camera. I'm closer to an LED light. So it's brighter on camera than it really is. It's more of like an eggplant. This is closer, the color, when I hold it back. And then, so I bought that in purple and I bought the same yarn in navy.
Oh, that's pretty too.
And again, like, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it's like a tonal.
So I think is it like how the different fibers take the dye a little bit differently, right?
No, I think it's because it's, how many plies? Gosh, this could be like an 8-ply. There's a lot of plies in there. And I think what they actually do is they have a couple of different colors and then so it's a really loose, it's a loose spin too, right?
Okay.
It's really loose, but it's very, very soft. And even though this is a small ball, these are 50-gram balls. This is dense. It's densely packed. And so the sweaters I'm thinking about are the Radunculus. And then the other sweater that I was thinking about was the Anchors summer sweater.
Oh, the summer shirt. Yep.
Summer shirt. Yeah, I really like that. And then I have a few other summer patterns, like tea patterns in my queue that this could work for as well. But
and is that a DK weight?
It is a DK.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that it doesn't take me too terribly long. I probably should have had these in January and been working on them in January to wear them for the summer. But you know what? We're still only in May, right?
Yeah, that's right.
This is only May. So even if I can get a couple of, and if they're summer, they really don't have much of a sleeve or anything. So
no, that's right.
I shouldn't end up with your problems of being stranded
well,
in the
there you go. Maybe I can
sleeve archipelagos.
Yeah. Maybe I can wear mine in the summer because they don't have any sleeves.
But I have some other cotton summer yarns that are light colors, and I didn't have any in the darker. And I kind of like that. So I grabbed those. And I have to say, for a sweater's quantity, it was $20 Canadian.
Yep.
So you can't beat that. That's a t-shirt. That's the price of a t-shirt, right? And I'm gonna have a sweater.
Yep.
So that's all I bought.
I didn't buy any yarn, but I did buy some fleece and I did a acquire some fleece.
Okay.
So, let me just grab them here. Okay. Ooh, one just fell. Okay. So first of all, this one.
There's some Noelle color.
Yeah, this is a silk merino. And Rachel got it for me for Mother's Day from a place in Germany called Yarrow. I don't know if it was yarns or fibers, but I'll put it in the notes. Really pretty, really soft.
It's beautiful.
So that's
beautiful.
Pinks, grays, yellows. Yeah, so that's a blended fleece. Then this one. This is from Lily and Pine. And this is a Polwarth silk. And this was from Jacqueline for Mother's Day. So
gorgeous.
Very pretty colors there.
Mm-hmm.
This one is from Stitch Noir, and this was part of the Be a Freakin' Unicorn collection.
Ah, yes, perfect.
Yes, so this is, I believe it's a blue-faced Leicester, and this is 150 grams. So what I'm thinking of doing with this is I think I'm going to do the girls, like the 3 granddaughters, like all a little cardigan or jumper that's got color work up in the yoke. So I'll put this up in the yoke, and then I'll just pick a different solid color for each of them. Mm-hmm. So I think I might do a cardigan because I think they get more wear out of the cardigan. I was even thinking that feather cardigan that I'm doing for myself goes down.
I was just going to say the feather cardigan would be really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really pretty. Okay. I'm going to grab the rest of it. Okay. So this is only half of the amount, but this was again from Rachel, well, and my son too, Curtis. So this is like the merino silk again, but this is more like the greens, emeralds, golds.
That's stunning.
That's so pretty. So and I do have, that's only half of it because I've kind of split it up to start spinning it. Mm-hmm. This is another one from Lily and Pine, and this one is a Corriedale. And that was from Jacqueline. And then this was the little unicorn stitch marker that I got from the Stitch Noir with the chrome. I don't know if you can see them there.
Aw, so
and
cute.
This was the other braid that I bought from her because I really like the colors.
Oh, that's beautiful too. I love that emerald in there.
Yeah. So, okay.
You're going to be a busy lady. Busy lady.
I am. So that was it for acquisitions this time.
Well, I think that's a pretty big haul.
Yep.
You've just swapped your yarn buying for fiber stash. So now you have a whole new stash, don't you?
Yeah.
Noelle's got a brand new stash.
That's right. I know people wanted to see our stash, and I'm like, no, that's not happening.
Not that we're ashamed of our stash, but honestly, we don't have the time. We just don't have the time to go through it.
Well, and mine, like it's not displayed prettily, like it's displayed practically. So it's not displayed; it's packed practically. Mm-hmm. So,
well, that's good. That's all good. We were talking about that on Knit Chat too, about the stash, and how we were calling it stables, which is stash. That
I always thought it was
beyond
stable,
expected life.
Yeah, staff acquired beyond life expectancy.
And if you like, I know that in Knit Chat, I was talking about how I admire people that actually have a very curated, very designated stash for the projects that they have. I can't be that person. I see something and I think, oh, I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. I realize that what I think I can do far exceeds the actual time that I have to do that. Yep. I understand that. So like, I know that about me, but it doesn't stop me from wanting it or thinking about the things I might do. And then if I have that opportunity to kind of like dive back into stash, then it's like Christmas, or it's like re-gifting it. Or I open up a tote box and I'm looking for one thing and I find something else and I'm like, oh, I completely forgot about that. So then it brings you joy all over again. Mm-hmm. We talked about this last week in Knit Chat. So, and that's probably
like my Yell cardigan is total stash.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't order any yarn for that. That was just, I went and pulled out the colors that I had and
that dishcloth too.
Yeah. And the dishcloth too. Oh, well, I can't say the other one. Well, that Elan mohair that I'm putting into the Felix
That's
cardigan.
deep stash.
That's really old stash.
Deep
So it's not
stash.
that I'm not using it.
Yes.
But unfortunately, new things keep coming out that all these ideas are in your head and you see new patterns. And
if we were 25 again and we were starting with the stash we have now and we didn't buy any more, we could definitely knit that stash away.
In my head, I can knit it all.
I know. That's what I mean. So like we put this on ourselves. Like we think that we see it, we think we can knit it. And then it's our time just kind of, it's not there. But
yep.
There are worse things we could be doing with our time and our money. And it brings us joy, and it's not causing us harm.
No.
So that's that. That's what we have to say about that. So I've emptied everything I have.
Yep. I have a lot to clean up here now, but
so maybe we should just wrap up. Just do a quick reminder. We've got the cows going in Ravelry, and we have a new one starting on June the 1st.
Yep.
And then the other thing that we have going is our knit chat. So this is, if you're new, and we should say that too. We have had some new followers this month, which has been really exciting, and welcome. I hope you are enjoying what you've found here. We try to be organized, but we are not always organized. Some days it's a hot mess.
If you're looking for a perfect podcast,
this is not it. This is not it. But we do have two particular formats, and this is what we call our sort of planned content. Like this is where we want to show you all the things that we've worked on throughout the month, what we've accomplished, and we do have a sort of a set agenda going into this one that we know that we're going to talk about. It's where we'll announce our prizes and our giveaways and anything new that's coming up within our sort of, I don't know what you call us, but I would call us a channel, but we're more than a channel. But it's sort of what's going on within Knits and Pieces. And then our second, and we try to get this out every 3 to 4 weeks. We'll have a broadcast going out of this. And then on a weekly basis, we have our knit chat group, which is it's your knit group. We're an online knit group, and think of it as your coffee shop knitting, or just your yarn shop knit group, or your friends. And at first we started it. Well, at first we didn't know if anybody was even going to come, and then you came, and we're having so much fun. And now it's like the highlight of our week. And honestly, for me, I know it has helped me tremendously from a mental point of view to get through these lockdowns that we've been in.
Yeah.
Just knowing that I'm going to be able to visit with friends, because it's interactive, and you're able to comment. We live stream that, and you're able to comment to us, and it's just it's driven by viewers. So we'd like to say that we're going to talk about knitting, but oftentimes the conversation might take off in a direction, but we sort of wind it back to knitting. And there's a lot of useful information, either things that we will provide to you if you ask for questions, but we've also learned, because there's been lots of useful information that have come from those of you who have joined in on our knit chats. So it's been great, and we've made some great friends along the way, and we're a pretty busy group, and it gets pretty chaotic in there. We were on Sundays, but for the summer months, we're on Tuesdays. So you can find us Tuesday night at 7:00 on this channel for our knit chat. Yeah. And we are having so much fun hanging out with you. Absolutely, we are.
In fact, I don't think you and I hardly get any knitting done on it.
I think I got 2 rows done on a sock last week.
I think I got 3 stitches that I had to rip back.
So much going on, and I was just having so much fun having a chat with everybody. I forgot I was supposed to be in there knitting. So I hope those of you that are joining in are getting more knitting done than Noelle and I are getting done, but we're having so much fun.
Yeah. Yep.
And you can find Noelle and I on Instagram and Ravelry. I'm the Tangled Stitch on both. And Noelle, you are?
I am N's Knits and Pieces on Ravelry, and Noelle's Knits and Pieces on Instagram. And
directly below this video, Noelle puts all of the links to everything that we talked about today. That is linked to our there's a link to our website website?
We have a website.
Yes. It's linked to our website.
Yep.
And Noelle does a great
And
job of this.
you can go in and you can, if there's anything that's got a direct link, like for our projects, or if we've talked about different shops or Etsy vendors, all that will be linked below, and you can just click on it. It'll take you right to it. If for any reason you can't access Ravelry and you've got any questions about anything that we discussed or talked about, just ask us under the video or through Instagram, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay. And we'd love to have you subscribe to the channel. That would be wonderful too. And as far as Knit Chat goes, there's a little bell on there where you'll get notifications. And so that will send you a reminder. We try to put a reminder thumbnail up the day before, just to keep you mindful to tune in at a certain time. And we do our very best to get there on time when we don't have internet difficulties, also known as Kelly's house in small southern Ontario town. But we were a little late last week, and it was great to see that you were all happy to talk amongst yourselves. I felt like a school teacher. I have to step out. You guys just work amongst yourselves, but it was so fun. Last week was a really great knit chat. There was a lot going on in there. And we also have a hashtag on Instagram, which is hashtag KNP
Knit Chat 2021. And, yep. And we'll have to draw a prize out of there one of these weeks.
We'll draw a prize out of there soon, but that's where we would like to see you put pictures of your projects so that we can check in, so that we can see what you're doing too. And there are some great things going on in there. We're having a lot of fun.
Like it's all because of the knit chat, and I think it was Kathy was knitting the Buracal, and I thought, I need to pull out that Marie Wallen thing, and now I'm on a whole tangent of.
That's right. That's right.
You just never know what direction it's going to lead you.
Exactly. So we are happily creating our little knitting community in our teeny tiny little corner of the internet.
And we're so thankful for everybody that's joining us, and so happy to be able to call you our friends. And Knit Chat is a lot of fun.
Yep. And we love reading your comments.
Super nervous the first time.
What's that?
Even though I was super nervous the first time.
Yeah. Well, it's real life. That's the thing, right? We never know where it's going to take us from week to week. But anyway, we are having a blast.
That's right. And even though it started like basically a lot because of the pandemic, like honestly, like it's grown to the point where I don't want to stop it, because there's so many people that we've met and gotten to know that we wouldn't have met because of a distance factor.
That's right.
And that this way, well, like we can all connect. Like I can't believe how many people from so many different places in the world that we have join us. Like, that world tour that we do one of these days is going to be awesome.
I know, and we just keep adding stops along the way. We're going to do around the world in 80 stitches.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Well, I am going to get to editing so we can get this up hopefully this weekend for you to all enjoy. And it's been good seeing you, Noelle.
Yeah, nice to see you. Hopefully we can get
together
and
see you in person soon. And so happy knitting, everybody, and enjoy the long weekend.
Yep. See you soon.